Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about something pretty important, especially for those of you getting ready for the UPSC exams.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're diving into the India Meteorological Department, or IMD for short.
The IMD, it's celebrating a big anniversary this year, 150 years.
Yeah, pretty big milestone, and Prime Minister Modi even gave an address on the occasion.
Right, and he actually unveiled some pretty ambitious new initiatives like Mission Malsum.
Mission Mausam.
That sounds pretty cool, right?
It does. To help us break it all down, we've got a couple of great articles here, one from the Hindu and one from the Indian Express.
Should be a good deep dive.
And now to understand just how far the IMB has come, we need to go back in time a bit, all the way back to 1875.
1875, okay.
Yeah, picture Calcutta, devastated by this massive cyclone.
Wow.
This tragedy really highlighted the need for a dedicated weather service, and that's how the IMD was born.
Makes sense.
So from those kind of humble beginnings, the IMD has evolved into this really sophisticated organization.
Oh, yeah, it's a major scientific institution now under the Ministry of Earth Sciences.
Right, and they play a crucial role in so many things like disaster management, economic planning, you name it.
Even national security.
So we've talked about the history, but what about the IMD's real-world impact?
Well, let me give you an example.
Okay.
The Zimor Tunnel inauguration in Kashmir,
Okay, I remember that.
a major infrastructure project, and the IMD's weather predictions were key to making sure everything went smoothly.
Yeah, if there'd been like a surprise snowstorm, that would have been a disaster.
Exactly.
It really shows how important accurate forecasting is.
Absolutely.
And speaking of advancements, I was really impressed by the whole Make in India aspect of the IMD.
Oh, yeah, they've been pushing for self-reliance in technology for a while now.
Like back in 1958, they developed their own indigenous radar system.
That was a huge accomplishment back then.
And then from 1983 onwards, they started working with ISRO to use satellite data for forecasting.
It's a real testament to Indian science.
And they haven't stopped there. I mean, automatic weather stations, Doppler radars, the common alerting protocol.
It's amazing all the technology they use now.
Right, it's like something out of the future. But it's not just about the technology itself, right?
No, it's about how it's used to improve the accuracy and the speed of weather forecasting.
Which means we're better prepared for disasters, we manage resources better.
A safer and more resilient India.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for any UPSC aspirants out there, this is super relevant for the exam.
Oh, absolutely. Especially for the science and technology and disaster management sections.
Okay, so let's talk about Mission Mausam.
Mission Mawsam.
I mean, high-resolution atmospheric observations, next-generation radars, and satellites, powerful computing systems.
It sounds pretty futuristic.
It really does.
Yeah.
So what makes this mission so special?
Mission Mawsam, it's a huge step forward for India's meteorological capabilities.
So?
It's about harnessing big data, advanced computing, and even international collaboration.
So it's not just about India.
No, it's about working with our neighbors, too. Extending a helping hand.
Oh, that's interesting. So it has a regional impact as well.
Absolutely. India's been a key player in the World Meteorological Organization, the WMO, for decades now.
Right.
And we've been supporting countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka.
Helping them improve their weather forecasting.
Exactly.
So could you give us a specific example of how that's working?
Sure. Take the flash flood guidance system.
Flash flood guidance system.
Yeah, it's developed by the IMD, and it gives real-time data on rainfall and river levels to these neighboring countries.
So they can issue flood warnings.
And hopefully save lives and property.
Wow, that's really powerful. A real example of how scientific collaboration can make a difference.
It really shows India's leadership in meteorology.
Absolutely. And speaking of leadership, the IMD has managed to improve its forecast accuracy by a whopping 50%.
50%? That's incredible.
What does that actually mean for people on the ground, though?
Well, it means fewer casualties during extreme weather events like cyclones and floods.
Makes sense.
It means farmers can plan their crops better.
Less loss due to unpredictable weather.
Exactly. And it means better preparedness for heat waves, cold waves, all those things that can disrupt daily life.
So it has a huge impact.
Oh, yeah.
But it sounds like the IMD isn't stopping there. They've laid out some really ambitious goals in their Vision 2047 document.
2047. Yeah.
We're talking near zero error for 3-day forecasts and 90% accuracy for 5-day predictions.
Pretty ambitious.
And those numbers are amazing.
Yeah.
What would it actually take to achieve that kind of accuracy?
Well, it's going to take continued investment in research and development, expanding the observational network,
Right.
and really harnessing the power of AI and machine learning.
Wow, so It's a pretty big undertaking.
It is, but it has the potential to be truly transformative.
And it's not just about predicting the weather. It's about making that information useful for everyone, right?
Right.
Like I was reading about personalized weather forecasts
Yeah.
tailored to your specific needs, almost like having a personal meteorologist.
Imagine that. Getting weather updates that are specific to your location, your commute.
It could change how we interact with weather information completely.
It really could.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already, but we're just getting started.
There's so much more to discuss.
In our next segment, we'll dive deeper into those Vision 2047 goals and what they mean for the future of weather forecasting in India.
Should be interesting. So, welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about Vision 2047 and all those ambitious goals.
Pretty exciting vision. But some of those goals seem almost impossible, like near zero error in 3-day forecasts.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
What are some of the biggest challenges the IMD might face in trying to reach that level of accuracy?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is just the sheer diversity of India's climate and geography.
Right, we have everything from the Himalayas to the coastal plains.
Exactly. And each region has its own unique weather patterns. So capturing all that in a forecast model.
It's a huge task.
Oh, it's a massive undertaking.
So it's not just about having the technology, it's about understanding all the nuances of India's climate.
Absolutely.
Are there any other big challenges you see?
Well, there's the whole issue of climate change.
Right.
We're seeing more extreme weather events these days, more unpredictable monsoons.
It's like trying to predict a moving target.
Yeah, exactly. Climate change is adding a whole new layer of complexity to weather forecasting.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the practical implications of Vision 2047.
Okay.
I'm curious how these advancements could benefit specific sectors, especially in a diverse country like India.
Well, I think the potential benefits are huge, for example, in agriculture.
Agriculture, okay.
More accurate forecasts could help farmers make better decisions about planting, irrigation, harvesting.
Yeah, it could really revolutionize things.
Exactly. It could lead to higher crop yields and fewer losses due to bad weather.
What about other sectors?
Well, think about disaster management. With better early warning systems for cyclones, floods, heat waves, we could save lives and reduce economic damage.
Right.
And in the energy sector, accurate wind and solar forecasts could make renewable energy more efficient.
So it really touches on so many different aspects of our lives.
It really does. Weather is fundamental to so much of what we do.
Now, for our UPSC aspirants out there, how does all this connect to the exam?
Well, Vision 2047, it's practically a textbook for potential essay topics and interview questions.
Really?
Think about it. You could write an essay on the role of technology in disaster management,
Okay.
the impact of climate change on India's weather, the geopolitical implications of regional cooperation.
So it's not just about memorizing facts, it's about understanding the bigger picture.
Exactly. And Vision 2047 lays out a framework for understanding all those connections.
It's interesting that it emphasizes a more participatory approach to weather management.
Oh, yeah, involving not just government agencies, but also local communities, NGOs, even private companies.
So it's a much more collaborative model.
Exactly.
But going back to those accuracy goals, how realistic are they really? Near zero error seems like a tall order.
It is. And, there are inherent limitations to weather prediction.
What do you mean?
Well, the atmosphere is a chaotic system. Even tiny variations in the initial conditions can lead to big differences in the outcome.
So even with the best technology, there's always going to be some uncertainty.
Exactly. We can't predict the weather perfectly.
So those accuracy targets are more like aspirations then.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
But even if we don't hit those exact numbers, the advancements in Vision 2047 are still significant.
Oh, absolutely. They represent a major shift in how we think about weather forecasting.
It's moving from a reactive approach to a more proactive one.
Right. Instead of just responding to weather events, we can start to anticipate them and plan accordingly.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges of forecasting, the potential benefits of Vision 2047.
And how it all connects to the UPSC exams.
But there's one thing we haven't really touched on, the human factor.
Ah, yes, the people behind the technology.
In our final segment, we'll explore the human side of weather, forecasting the unsung heroes who make it all possible.
Should be a great discussion.
So we're back, and we've been talking about all this amazing technology, these ambitious goals, but it's important to remember that behind all of that are people.
Oh, absolutely.
Real people who dedicate their lives to understanding the weather, and then using that knowledge to help others.
The unsung heroes of weather forecasting.
I've always been amazed by their dedication, constantly analyzing,
Yeah.
data refining models, trying to make sense of this incredibly complex system.
It's a demanding job, no doubt.
Requires a ton of expertise and a real passion for science.
And their role is only going to become more important as we move towards those Vision 2047 goals.
How so?
Well, think about personalized weather forecasts.
Okay.
It's not just about the algorithms, it's about understanding how people actually use weather information.
Right, and tailoring the forecast to their specific needs.
Exactly. You need to understand human behavior communication, even a bit of psychology.
So it's about bridging the gap between the science and society.
Making sure these advancements actually benefit people in their daily lives.
And Vision 2047 really seems to acknowledge that.
Oh, yeah, it talks about the need for better communication, outreach, education.
Helping the public understand weather phenomena.
Empowering people to make informed decisions based on good information.
So it's about building trust, fostering a culture of weather awareness,
Absolutely.
and recognizing that human judgment plays a big role in effective weather management.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And for our UPSC aspirants out there,
Yes.
these human dimensions of weather forecasting, they're crucial for the exam too.
In what way?
Well, it's not just about the science itself. It's about the policy implications, the societal impact, the ethical considerations.
But these are all things that could come up in essays or interviews.
Absolutely. So don't just focus on the technical details. Think about the bigger picture.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. The future of weather forecasting. It's not just about technology.
No, it's about people.
It's about using human ingenuity, collaboration, and compassion to build a more resilient world.
A world where we can better anticipate and adapt to whatever weather challenges come our way.
I think that's a great note to end on.
I agree.
So we hope you found this deep dive insightful and helpful for your UPSC preparation.
And if you did, be sure to like and subscribe and share it with your friends.
And don't forget to check out the articles we mentioned from The Hindu and the Indian Express.
They're definitely worth a read.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay weather aware.